Nikki Webster, welcome
Thank
to
you.
Business Insider.
Thank you.
A very new business on the Central Coast, but as we've just been talking about, some history here, so we'll go into that a bit later.
Absolutely.
An exciting prospect. Tell us about what you're doing.
So I'm opening a dance studio up at the Central Coast in Erina. It's called Dance at Nikki Webster. My business in Sydney has been running for 4 years. We've got a dance studio in Sydney. And
some successful attendees or students.
Absolutely. We also have a talent agency as well. So that promotes the kids, puts them forward for auditions and castings. We've got kids in Young Talent Time. We have kids in Terra Nova, the new Steven Spielberg film. Annie, Mary Poppins musicals, so and lots of commercials on TV. We represent kids and train them up to be what little stars they are. So it's been so rewarding in Sydney, and we absolutely love it. And we wanted to progress and offer our expertise and what we can to the Central Coast. So we thought about expanding up here, and it's just been so welcoming.
Can we talk about that decision process?
Yeah, I have been coming to the Central Coast for holidays, and ever since I was a kid, coming up to Terrigal and doing all of that with my family, having a holiday house up here, ever since I was a little kid. And I've always loved the family vibe that the Central Coast has. They're very supportive of their children, and they give everything to see their kids succeed and have a go at different things. So I've always loved coming up here, and then my parents brought a place up here a couple of years ago to retire. And so
there's the challenge. So did we.
Yeah.
But our kids keep turning up.
I think they did it to get rid of us.
Exactly,
but
we do that.
I think so. Well, now they can't get rid of us at all.
And they've given you a floor.
They have. They have. So now we spend half our week with them, which is great. They love it. But,
have you checked with them? How much they love it?
They do love it at the moment, but ask me, throughout the year, and I think it might change.
I might need to check with them.
I think
direct,
so.
Actually.
So we've been coming up more regularly since they had the place up here on the coast, and again, just watching the families, watching what the Central Coast has to offer and what we can bring to the Central Coast, and I think it's fantastic. I'm so excited about opening up here.
From an outsider, it's an extraordinary. We've got more dance studios up here than I've had hot meals.
Yes, absolutely.
So tell me what's different about.
Well, basically, it's my experience. I've got 11 years performing experience throughout the industry. My brother's got a Whopper degree, Bachelor in musical theatre. So he's done the whole musical theatre degree, and I'm been on stage. I've done musicals, I've done film, I've done TV, I've done acting, singing, dancing, whatever you want to. Any kind of entertainment, I've done it. I've designed a clothing range.
Where does the business skill come from then?
Driven. I'm quite driven. I've always been driven, always known what I wanted and seen that goal and worked towards it. I'm a bit of a workaholic. I don't really switch off. And I just see that I have so much to give to the new talent of Australia. I love mentoring my students. We take a really personal kind of relationship with them. We mentor them, and we get them to the level they need to. I was blessed to have some huge stars mentor me. Bert Newton, Kylie Minogue, a lot of Australian stars have really been my mentors and have helped me along the way.
Okay. The business skill, it is a different world. All of a sudden you've got things called cash flow and debtors and creditors and the new site, obviously you have a landlord.
We do. We have a fantastic suite.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were going to say
we do have a good landlord, Warren. He's a very Central Coast based person, and he's just been wonderful welcoming us to the Central Coast. But we're at the Lifestyle Centre in Erina. So we have a gym in our complex, we've got a yoga studio, we have a preschool and an after school care. So we've got a photography studio. It's a beautiful vibe. We're all no one's competing, and we're all working together, and we can all enhance each other's businesses. And it's really refreshing. I don't work in a complex in Sydney. We have a standalone building. So to come up here and work with other businesses and promote and help each other, it's a fantastic experience.
So what surprises have you had? 4 years, and the pathetic age of how old?
I'm 24. 24. I opened my Sydney studio I'm nearly 25, so I opened my Sydney studio the day after my 21st birthday. So
where do you get the skills? Do you
10 years. It's 10 years of being around.
Sorry, no, it's more about the. Oh, well, is osmotic.
It's being around. It's been. I was in boardrooms at record companies at 13. I was sitting down with head executives of Kmart and clothing ranges, and traveling around the world designing a clothing range at 13. So. I travelled around the world to promote music and make music and work. I've always been around adults and inspiring adults, and I think maybe that's rubbed off a little.
I can't be sure, maybe it has.
Yeah.
Has anything surprised you? Anything surprised on the business side again? Because who we're talking to are probably not too many 24-year-olds or 20-year-olds who are about to open.
I mean, it's tough. I mean, to get that respect as a 24-year-old is quite hard as well. Anyone can open up a dance studio, but if you've got to open it up, you've got to run it the right way, you've got to have the right relationships with your parents and your students. And it's all that. I mean, we're very young owners. My brother and I are very young owners, but we're also very driven. We're very switched on. We know what's going on around Australia. We know how to make these kids professionals if they want to, and we also know how to make them have fun if they don't want to be professionals. So there's the two extremes. I think it is about gaining respect, and that comes with longevity. In the first year when I opened my Sydney studio, I think a lot of people thought, oh, well, that'll be closed in a year. That won't last. Small businesses don't last. It only takes 3 years. And I think now we're over that landmark, and we've proven ourselves. And, we don't jump around going, we're here, we're here. We actually do the work. We do the hard work. We're on the phones. We're getting these kids the opportunities they need. They're in huge productions in Sydney at the moment, and we can offer that to the Central Coast. And I think that's our point of difference. We have those contacts in Sydney. I have great relationships with a lot of media and industry people in throughout Australia, and that's what I want to bring to the coast, giving these kids on the Central Coast the opportunity, if they want it, to be able to spread their wings and become performers.
Heroes? Who did you kind of look at for and say?
Definitely Kylie Minogue. I was a huge Kylie Minogue fan. I think she's an incredible businesswoman, the way she reinvents herself, and she just, perfume and music and books and every kind of asset that she can do, she kind of delves into it, and she does it so well, and she's such a showman. She's just amazing on stage. That energy is incredible to watch, and I've watched her quite a few times, from rehearsals right up into being on stage, and she never misses a beat. She's so switched on and knows who she is, and that's really, really important. For my name's on the door, so I kind of have to implement that same kind of drive and passion.
With that, and I just reminded myself that it's 10, 12 years ago since we first saw you, and you've been growing ever since that. The energy is saying you're not tired of this, you'll just keep going.
No, I love it. I love it. I'm driven. It's another side to what I do. Singing is my passion, performing is my passion. I'm still doing that.
You still do that?
Yeah, I still write music. I released an independent single a couple of years ago, and that was #1 on the independent charts and #3 on the dance charts. So that was a really big milestone, getting away from a major label and releasing an independent.
Do you see record? Would there be a Webster record label or something? I don't want to give you more stuff to do.
That'd be fun. I
can't imagine it being fun, but it'd
be stressful. It'd be stressful. Yeah. I think I'd rather get the talent and mentor them to the stage, that I can then pass them on and let the experts do that. I don't want to delve into anything I don't feel like I'm an expert at or have the right skills. I want to, these kids, I want to get to the right standard that they can then go on to the world and do what they want to do.
Yeah. The marketing, you're obviously not obviously, to anyone else other than me, who just walked next door to see Brilliant Logic.
That's right.
And while we're giving credit, we didn't thank Milestone Bellanova for their boardrooms. But that is proof, I think, that there is full creative and service-driven professionals on the coast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you worked with Louise before, or?
Only in Sydney years ago, back when I was doing the Olympics and the Carols in the Domain and all that kind of stuff. So it's refreshing. They're so driven. They're on the ball. And I really wanted to use locals. We've used local builders to help us build our studio. Local supplies. Everything is local. Local signage. Local PR and marketing. So that's what we're about. We're not going to bring people from Sydney up. We're about, you know, giving the local support. And yeah, it's been wonderful. It's been fantastic to work and meet a lot of locals.
So how long has it been, or is it open now? Or
no, we open on the 29th of January. That's our open day. So we have a day full of free classes for all the kids to come along.
I've heard some advertising for that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I make up. No, I won't.
So no, it'll be great fun. I'll be there. Scott will be there. You know, I'll be teaching a bit of singing on the day. But yeah, I'll be there running around, and there'll be free classes throughout the day. You get to meet Scott and I, and just see what we're all about. Come and see our beautiful studio. It's really...
And you have staff that work for you?
We do. We have a lot of amazingly talented teachers who are Central Coast based and trained and grew up on the Central Coast and are now, you know, at teaching level, and it's very exciting.
Okay, we need to get back to you in 12 months' time. The energy will still be there, but we'll need to... Hopefully there's some challenges.
I'm sure there will be.
Do you think you've got a challenge that, regarding Central Coast?
I think it's mainly letting them know that we're here to stay, and that, you know, we are going to be here. It's not going to be run by other people, and we'll be in Sydney. We are going to be here a lot of the time. I'll be popping up all the time. I'll be here teaching master classes. My brother Scott will be here a lot teaching the classes. We're a very family orientated business. We're very family driven.
Have you left any siblings out of the...
No, there's just the two of us. So,
okay.
you know, and that's a great thing, working with your brother. He's the one person I can trust. And it's been wonderful to work with him, and then we switch off and we're brother sister. So we have a great relationship in that sense, and we both have strengths and we use them in the business. So he's an amazing teacher with children. He's worked with children for the past 10 years, and he's just got such a great rapport with the kids that it's wonderful to see. So I think that it will be challenging, any new businesses, especially a small business, no matter where you open up. But I hope that, you know, the Central Coast gives us a chance. We're very excited about meeting students and meeting families and just seeing how we can, you know, help them and watch these kids progress. That's what we're all about. We've seen our kids grow in Sydney for the past 4 years, and it's amazing to look back on day one to where they are now is amazing, and that's... We're very passionate about that and really excited about doing it on the coast.
We talk about mentoring and obviously training. That is part of what you offer now.
Absolutely.
What do they get if they get Nikki Webster mentoring them?
I think the great thing is I teach children, so from 1.5 up to 17-year-olds. At the moment I'm mentoring a young beautiful actress, Alana Mansour, who is in Terra Nova with Steven Spielberg's production, which is just huge around the world. And you know, I represent her, I manage her, and I mentor her, and that involves sharing my experiences, what I learned. She's a lot younger than me. She was 8, I was 13. So it's very reassuring to her parents that I can talk to her on her level as a performer, that I knew what I was going through and what I was scared about when I was her, you know, when I was 13 and performing. But it also reassuring the parents. You know, my parents went through it. You know, one night I was no one, and then the next night I was, you know, across a global scale. So my parents went through it, and I can share those experiences.
Who did they depend on? Because it
was a learning experience for us all, step by step. I mean, there was no written book on what to do with a 13-year-old who would start at the Olympics. So everything we did was learning, and I think what we decided very early on was never to live with any regrets. So everything we did, we never regretted it. It might have been wrong, fair enough, but we moved on from that and we learned. We never kind of looked back and went, if only, you know, if only. And that was something my parents and I decided to do very early on, because we had no idea. We didn't know what was coming one day from the next.
And there may have been 1 or 2 errors.
There was a few. There was plenty of them, but that's life. You know, life is about, you know, mistakes, experiences, and it's how you move on from that and what you create from that. So I do mentor kids, and I get very passionate about that. I also get very protective. I saw a lot at 13.
See, there must be a tad of conflict there, the commercial side and the personal life skills that you're trying.
Yeah, there is, but I think I mix it in, and then I know I can stand back and I go, well, these are, I never force my opinion on anybody. I go, this is what I went through. This is how I would have dealt with it. This is what I was feeling. It's not wrong to feel like that. And then I step back and go, what are you feeling? You know, how can we move forward from this? So I can step back, because at the end of the day, it isn't my life, it is their life. So it's about, I guess, building the respect with the parents as well, and letting them know I'm on their side, and I am very protective. I do protect. Maybe I'm too protective. I'm like a mother hen. I'm like, don't let them go out. Don't expose them too early. You got plenty of time. Why do you want to be a star at 13? Wait till you're 20 and build from that. 13, you get to 18, and then what do? You finish school and you're competing with the rest of the world that are 20-year-old singers. So I do like to hone the skills and really build up the skills so that when they're ready, they're ready. They're not, they're not thrown out into the limelight too soon. So.
Okay. So I've got one more business question, and that is if you were to counsel an 18 or a 19-year-old who maybe is not in your space, but they're thinking about creating a business.
It's tough. Yeah, go bye-bye personal life. It's when you run your own business, it's 24/7. You can't switch off.
Do you balance that, or how do you escape? You go overseas, or?
Yeah, I do try and get away, but I'm an email addict, so I'm always on my phone. But I think when you own your own business, you have that passion. You don't want to switch off. You don't want to go 9 to 5 and then, well, that's it. I have to be available 24 hours a day in case something happens. A job comes in, or this parent has a problem. Whatever happens, you have to be available. And I think starting a business, that's the first thing you have to know. A lot of people think opening a dance studio is easy. I'll just put on a few dance teachers, dance classes. Big
speakers.
Yeah, it'll be fine. But it's full on. You're running timetables. People are paying for a service, and you've got to provide that in a professional manner. So it is tough. I think we will get challenges, but that makes me more driven to drive through them and to, at the end of the day, look back and go, oh my God, did we actually have all that problem at the beginning? I know that feeling,
and we're so similar in age. It's uncanny that at your age,
I've had an interesting life, that's for sure. I grew up very quickly, and I grew up with people's scrutiny very quickly, and how to deal with that. And
I read the numbers. 35 billion people actually think they know you, and that's one of those. Thanks you for coming in.
Thank you. Thanks very much.